guys, welcome back to another episode of How to Build Your Own Aquarium by Avik's Aqua World. And in today's video we'll talk how to tape your glasses before building your aquarium so that you get a more clean and professional finish. We are building an aquarium which measures 24 inches in length, 12 inches in breadth and 15 inches in height. So for this aquarium we have taken 5 glass panels as we have discussed in the previous videos, out of which the base glass measures 24 inches by 12 inches. The front or the rear panels measure 24 inches by 15 inches and the side panels measure 12 inches minus 10 millimeters because we are using 5 millimeter of glass by 15 inches. Now if you want to know why the measurements and how do they work, please go ahead and check out the second video or the part 2 of how to build your own aquarium, where I have discussed in details how to calculate or measure the dimensions of the glasses that we need to order to build our aquarium. So you can go ahead and watch that video first so that you can get an idea of how the measurements work, and then you can come back over here and check this part out. So we'll start off with the front or the rear panel first. I'll keep these aside. Right, so let's start off with one of the front panels or the rear panels. On this panel we'll tape only 3 sides, where the 2 sides are where the side panels are glued onto, and one of the longer sides which will stick on the base. We will not tape the side which will be on the top of the aquarium. Okay, so for this we need a PVC tape. So something like this, brand new one, and something which we can use to mark on the glass. So like a glass marking pencil, or a marker, not a permanent marker but like a sketch pen or a body marker, which you can easily wipe off once you're done with it. So I'll prefer using this. I'd rather show both. So the way we tape it is we leave about 6 millimeters of space from the edge because we're using 5 millimeter glasses. So when we place the side panels here, there'll still be about 1 millimeter of glass left where the silicone will stick on both the glasses. So we leave about 6 millimeter of space from both the sides for the side panels to stick onto, and none or maybe 1 millimeter of space from the longer edge for the base to stick onto. Okay, so we take this off. Again, if you want to know how to place the glasses onto your aquarium, please go ahead and watch the part 2 where I have discussed and even shown how the panels are placed. So it gives you a fair idea of how to tape your panels. It makes your concept a lot more easier. Right. Now the hardest thing is to find the open edge of the tape, and yep, there it is. So the way this works is we need to mark out 6 millimeters from both the sides. So to do that, we can either use a tape like these, or we can simply use the side panel which is smaller in size and use it as a scale. So let's use the side panel first. So we keep the side panel, align it along with the edge, and now we know how much space it takes on this panel. So simply draw a quick line along this edge. Just be sure that it is not moving around a lot. We don't want to waste a lot of space. We kind of mark the edges. And yeah, just place it back on like this. And use it as a ruler. And just make sure you're marking on the 6mm arc and a straight line which is about 6mm away from the edge. I'm sorry, I'm using a white base and a white pencil on it is not a good idea, so what we'll do is let's use this marker. Just to be all sure, let's place it back again. Now since I'm using a marker and it can be a little messy and pretty prominent, so I will use it as minimally as possible. So like a small spot on the edge, one on this side, use this panel as a ruler, and instead of drawing a straight line, what I can do is we can just put in dots about 2.5 inches apart along this line, and we get an edge, or we get a marking which is 6mm away from the side. Actually this is 5mm away from the edge because we have used the exact thickness of the glass. So while we are taping this side, we'll make sure that we are pasting the tape a little further away from the marks and not directly on the mark. Two reasons: A, we get a buffer space for the silicone to get attached to. B, it's easier for us to wipe the markers away, away from the glass. So we're done with this side. Similarly, we're going to do this side as well. Okay, now we are done with marking both the edges. The marks are 5mm away from the edges. So now we go ahead and put the tape on them. But again, let's place them a bit away from the dots and not directly on top of them, so that we get some buffer space after the glasses are placed over there. So the way I do it is I leave a bit of the tape out of the glass, which I can use later to grab hold on and pull the entire tape off the glass, and stretch it out, then relax a bit and start pressing down on the tape beside one dot at a time. Now we don't want to stretch the tape while we are placing on the glass, because it creates a lot of tension in the tape and it does tend to come off the glass even before we want it to. So stretch it out from before, and when you're placing it, just make sure it's as relaxed as possible. Like, let it take its in normal form and place it on. While placing, you might find the tape not pasting on a straight line, so try to press it down while you are placing it in short lengths instead of taking a huge gap and then try to press it on. The longer the gap, the more it might turn to curve along the line. So take small sections, press it down, pull it again, press it down, and complete the line. So this section is done, so we slice it off. Now, instead of leaving any part of the tape outside like we have done on this side, we will cut it off about a millimeter or two before the glass ends. This part acts as the buffer for the silicone to attach to while we place this on the base of the base glass. Okay, similarly I'm going to do like paste tape on this side as well. Right, now we're done with both the sides, and finally we're going to tape the length which we are planning to place on the base. Now for this, as we have discussed, that we are not going to leave much space or almost none. It's about like a millimeter of gap that we have over here, so we'll follow that along the entire length of the glass. Now there's a particular reason why I place the side first and then place the tape on the bottom part, because once we are taking it off, we're going to pull from either of the sides. We are not too sure which one to start off with. So it depends on how we are placing the glass and which hand we are comfortable with and stuff like that. So when we are actually taping the glass, we are not sure which side we are going to pull off first. But it's definitely not going to be the base tape. It's going to be either of the sides. So if the base tape is above or on top of the two side tapes, when we are pulling either of them off, they're gonna pull out the base tape as well along with them, which makes our thing work a lot easier. If it would have been the other way around, we have to reach down from all the way up, try to peel the lower tape off, without any extra help from the sides. So I made sure that the base tape starts from the edge of the side tape over here and it ends at directly on the edge of the side tape on this side. So I'm going to carefully slice off the tape right over here, and that's it. We are done with one of the panels, which is going to be either the front or the back panel of the aquarium. We're going to repeat the same process for the other side as well. Now let's work on one of the side panels. Taping this is much easier because we don't need to leave any space from any of the sides, because the glass panel is actually sandwiched between the two front and rear panels and the base. So all we need to do is leave about 1 millimeter of gap from the 3 edges. Again, we are going to tape only the 3 sides of this panel. So we leave about like 1 millimeter or 2 from all the 3 edges and tape along the rim. Again, since this is like, let's suppose this is going to be the top part, this is going to be on the base. So I'll place the 2 sides first and then the base tape on top of them, so that when we are pulling off from either of the sides, they come out along with the base tape, which helps us to get a clear finish. I'm just going to turn this around, but we need to keep in mind that that's it. This is the top, this is the base, and these are the 2 sides. So as we did with the front panel, we're going to leave a bit of the tape out of the glass and almost no space from the edge. Hold it down firmly, stretch out the tape a bit, and then relax, right? And start putting it on the glass in smaller sections. When you think you need to pull out a little bit of the tape again, press and hold the tape firmly, stretch it out, relax, start placing it again. This way you get an uniform width or gap along the edge, and we're going to slice it off close to the base, but leave a gap of around 1 millimeter, right? And we're going to follow the same process for this and this side, right? And that's it, we are done with the side panel. Now for the base. Okay, so now we are going to tape along the rim of the base. There's going to be a slight difference over here. We're going to tape all the four sides of the base because the four walls are going to sit on top of the base. So we need all the four sides covered, and we also need to keep 6 millimeters of space along the rim because all the glasses are going to be on the base. So the glasses are going to take away 5 millimeter of the glass space, and we need another millimeter or so for the silicone to attach onto. Okay, so this time we're not going to use the side panels. Let's measure it with one of these tapes. So let's start off with say 4, and we need 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 right over here. Okay. Similarly, we're gonna mark it along this side as well. So that's 1. Let's do the same thing over here as well. That's 4. That's 6 millimeters over there. Oopsie. And let's start with 7. Now we need 6 millimeters from these sides as well. So there. And we have marked equal distances from all the sides. Now we can use one of the glass panels as a scale and mark dots along the edges and start taping this. So we are done with taping all the four sides of the base panel. Now if you notice that we haven't left any of the tape hanging out, because since we are going to place the glasses on top of the base glass, we cannot have tapes across the 6 millimeter mark. So when we are taking this off, it might be a little tricky because you need to reach all the way to the base and then pull them off. But to make things a little easier, it's a trick. What I follow is just along the corners, slice the tapes diagonally. So let's say from here, yeah, and let them be. Just slice them off a bit. Don't take them off right now, but it will definitely makes our life a lot easier when we are trying to take them off while we are building the aquarium. and since we don't know which side we're going to start off with from, so let's slice all the 4 corners. More. Just make sure it's through and through. This one's there. Okay, and I really advise you to be really careful when you're using razors and blades. Please have somebody supervise your work if you're not used to using razors and blades, or get yourselves industrial gloves which are somewhat resistant to sharp objects. Okay, so we are done with taping all the glasses. Now it's time to build the aquarium. Okay, so we have taped all the panels and we are all set to build our aquarium. So we have laid down the base panel over here. This is going to be either on the front or back panels, the 2 sides, and I've kept the other side aside. Okay, now some of you have already watched the part 2 of how to build your own aquarium, where I've shown in details how to build your basic tank. So I don't want to go about explaining the same things over again in this video, but if you haven't, please go back to that video, watch that section first, and then come back over here, because I will skip out on a lot of minute details, because this video is mostly about how the taping is being used and not how to place the glass panels and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we leave the base panel first, and one of the longer panels at the side panel. So it's always easier for me to use my left side and that side, so I'll leave this aside for now. Okay. So I have this caulking gun mounted and ready. Again, I'm not going to give you the details of how to do this in this video. Please go ahead and check the previous videos for that. And I'm going to straight away get into putting the panels up together. Done with the smoothing of the silicone. This is what I do, is I go with another line of silicone. We couldn't do this with the previous aquarium, like the basic one, until and unless it was almost necessary, because this extra silicone would be a lot of it would be a lot messy, but since we have the tapes in place, so they actually make a frame for the silicone. So it has a gap in between. It's gets pasted where it's supposed to, and the tapes don't let it spread out. Smoothen it out again. Keep on wiping your fingers. Make sure your hands are nice and clean. You may or may not want to use both your hands. That's it. And now the trick we have all been waiting for. make sure you're pulling out the tapes before the silicone gets a chance to dry. We have these tapes hanging out just for the street. Hold them out straight and in a smooth flow. You might need an extra pair of hands helping you out to dispose the tapes once you have taken them out completely. Since I'm recording this alone today, just need to be a little careful. Still on this side because we are yet to finish off taping on applying the sides on this side. So since we are done with these two panels, so I'll take these two tapes off and the base from these two sides and the base panel. I'm sorry, I'm going to get up once in a while to throw the tapes away. The dustbin is a little far away. So, okay, clean your hands thoroughly. Make sure there's no silicone on it. If you're not comfortable using newspapers, you can use rags, or even wet piece of cloth, whatever helps. What do you find convenient? For me, newspaper was fine. There will be times when the tape is kind of stuck to the glass and you may or may not have nails. In that case, use a blade or something. Just peel the corner off and pull them out. But now when you're pulling the side panels out, the side panel might tend to lean in. So just hold on to the corner, make sure it's not wobbly, and again leave this side up because we are yet to place the glass panel on this side. And now you know why I always prefer the base tape to be on top of both the side tapes. So I could actually pull off the base tape without taking this side out. Right. So I'm done with this section. And now for the base. Again I need this, feet of the corner. And this is why I wanted to cut the corner as well, so it's easier for me to just take out a single section like this. So it's much easier than trying to just pull the entire thing out. You tend to make a mess out of it. And always pull it away. Avoid straight. Just pull it towards you so that the silicone section stays away from the glass and you don't accidentally make a mess there. Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what you do to get a smoother finish for your aquariums. This is definitely not the zero silicone way of getting your aquariums done, but it is a step ahead from the basic aquarium building technique where there was no control over the silicone. It would smear all over the glass, like as much as you can could control with your fingers. But with this, like it leaves a really fine margin along the glass panels where the silicone is, like in control in a way, not smearing all over. It does still have a mark in the glass where you can visibly see the silicone, but that's okay. This is like the intermediate stage of building your aquariums. I would really prefer if you stick to this phase the longest. Try the basic way of building aquariums, maybe like for once or twice, get the basic hang of how to use glasses and silicone gun and stuff like that. Then switch over to this using tapes to get a border finish, and keep on practicing this. It takes a lot of practice, not just how to place the tapes, but even while you're pulling it, make sure you're putting it away from the glass and towards you, using making sure that your hands are clean, but you're touching here and there, but still not leaving marks, stuff like that. So just get the hang of using this method the most, and moving over to zero silicone. Zero silicone would be very easy for you once you get the hang of this. Right? So I'm going to quickly get over with building the rest of the aquarium. So this is how you use tape to build your own aquarium. Give it a little more professional finish compared to your basic way of doing it. I hope you liked this video and got some information or useful tips which you can now use to build your own aquariums. I would really appreciate your valuable feedback and comments. Please go ahead and write whatever you think about this video, the techniques that I've shown, the way I've done it, if there are changes or if I can make things better. Please go ahead and advise me those things. And if you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you want to watch or get updates about more videos about tutorials, the different fishes that I keep, and stuff like that. That's it. That's a wrap. Until next time.